Welcome. In the last video, we had a quick rundown of what the Moral Parliament has to offer. This time we'll go in a bit more depth into each of the functionalities and features. If you haven't watched that previous video, we strongly recommend that you do before proceeding with this one. The first thing to notice is that instead of clicking on walkthrough, you have a list of suggested configurations. These are pre-built sets of projects and parliaments. What this means is that these essentially pre-select different worldviews and project sets. To navigate the tool, the easiest way is to click straight on the tab that you're interested in. So for example, if you want to see the projects, you click on projects. If you want to go straight to allocations, you can do that. Once you're in projects, you can see which projects have been pre-selected by that configuration that we're on, which is broad spectrum. Every project has a list of settings. These are to do with the type of value that the project has to offer. So there are the beneficiaries, the status, effect, type, scale, and risk are its own thing. So beneficiaries, for direct transfers everywhere, they affect only humans. So we have a 1 next to humans and 0 weight next to the other types of animals. For the status is whether it affects beings that exist right now, or that will soon exist, or that will someday exist. Then there's the effect. Does it create goods or avert bads? The type, is it concerned with pleasure and pain, flourishing, or perhaps justice? Here there's a mix, as you can see. Finally, there's risk, which is about the riskiness of the project itself. So what is the probability that this project might backfire and create some disvalue or a lot of disvalue, and then you can assign those probabilities. And you can think about a baseline amount of value, which is X. This is set here in the tab scale, which in this particular case is 60. It's a baseline amount in the sense that it assumes that this is how much value you would create, perhaps measured in QALYs or DALYs averted, if the worldview assigned full weight to everything the project has to offer. Now there's also this section on standings, and these are how does each worldview feel about this project. You can see here it's most liked by some of these views, like Rawlsian and common sense. It's least liked by total utilitarianism and egalitarianism, for example. And you can get full rankings of all of these by clicking on the Expand See More button. And you get, okay, Rawlsian thinks it's a first tier project, whereas Nietzscheanism thinks it's a 6th tier project. And, for example, egalitarianism that ranks it 12th with respect to other projects. Next, we're going to think about the worldviews. So this is all the worldviews selected. And again, this is because we have equal representation, which pre-selects all the worldviews that are offered in the Parliament, and it adds 2 delegates from each worldview to the General Parliament. Now, this is similar to the projects in that you can customize each of the worldviews to make it exactly what you want. So for example, if we look at total utilitarianism, we have some weights for each of the categories that we saw, and that expands to population and valence, value. We also have risk preferences, which is how much do we discount good outcomes, how much do we care about bad outcomes. More details can be found by reading the descriptions and the tooltips here. Now, we're back here, and as before, we can select exactly what credence we want by adjusting these weights. Finally, once we're happy with our Parliament, we can go to allocations. There are a range of allocations offered, and they're roughly voting allocations, bargaining, which there's only one, Nash bargaining, and then other options. Let's talk about some of these. Nash bargaining follows the traditional algorithm to find the Nash bargaining solution. You can read about it here. You can also edit what's called the disagreement point, also termed status quo here. And you can have it so that if they don't reach bargains, they get 0, or they get their merged favorites. Let's think about merged favorites next. Merged favorites is actually this method, moral marketplace, where each parliamentarian gets a slice of the budget to allocate as they see fit. If there's a worldview that has a lot of parliamentarians, each delegate will get a slice, and the worldview as a whole will have more of the budget, and they will each optimize independently. So it's relatively insensitive to decreasing cost effectiveness because each of them assumes that they're the only ones acting. Now, you can, as a reminder, change the marginal returns that each parliamentarian assumes. So none, some, or more. Here you can see that by chance, we've configured a parliament such that everything gets at least some of the budget. There are some methods that are a single winner. So for example, ranked choice voting is a single winner election following these steps that you can see here, and it essentially simulates rounds of voting, and then it tells you which one satisfies the overall preferences of the worldviews. Once you've explored some of the allocation methods and the results there, you can save your parliament as in the tutorial, and then you can explore other types of configurations, whether it's the ones that we offer here or your own custom-made one. We hope you enjoy using our tool.